8 pretty solid albums.
Six.
6. We're going to offend a few people when we put her at 8th place.
You can't say anything anymore. You can't even rank
Albums
former
without
Oasis
getting
members'
death
albums.
threats. But we've gone in 8th place with B by BDI.
I couldn't tell you any of the songs on this. I have no memory of this album. I think I've listened to it at least once.
There's some good. I think
Fish Fingers. Oh, flick off the finger. There's Fish Fingers. It's a brave way to start an album.
Now everyone likes certain albums more than others, of course. But for me, my favourite song on this was "Start Anew," and I don't know. It was just. I think it summed up where Liam Gallagher was in life at the moment. There's stuff going on. And,
Lost, stuck, creatively
a bit stuck.
Lost.
And I think BDI were an okay band.
Being shit at music.
But I just think it was a bit basic. Like, we'll go on to his solo stuff in a bit, but I feel like he's had more things.
I couldn't tell you a single song on this. I'll be honest.
I remember listening to it just went, nah, I've gone back to it and there's a few okay songs. There's a few people that have gone, yeah, this is like the best thing. And I mean, Liam Gallagher rates this is like the best thing they've ever done this second album.
Really?
Yeah, it's got to. So, this song's alright.
Is he back on the gear?
You're enjoying this?
Be wise, move on to the next one.
7th place, we've gone Who Built the Moon by Noel Gallagher. What are your thoughts on it? Because I've got a lot.
Do you know what? This is the same year that Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino came out, and I think I went with one of them.
Yeah. 2
experimental albums at the same time. I think I could only take in one. I took in the Arctic Monkeys one.
Do you know what, with this album, I'm not going to sit and slate it at all, because he tried a different process. He was open about it, and I'm fine with that, because, you know, think of the 3rd album cast, what Oasis did in the 3rd album with all the drugs and how they'd ruined what could have been a great album, another classic. And he wanted to go a different direction, so he moved to this producer who basically changed. Instead of Noel Gallagher writing songs, take it to the studio, this man was basically putting samples and then he writes songs on top of that.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I think it missed a trick, because the concept, I love the artwork and I think the concept of the album works well, but I don't think the songs were developed enough.
No.
This, what you're listening to now, It's a Beautiful World, unless they've copyrighted it. But this is a good song, and my favourite moment on the album.
Yeah.
But I just feel that the songs weren't developed enough.
There's a lot of space.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of space.
And it's just too... I just feel like they need another 6 months to went, right, this is brilliant, now let's try and work on the song side and then go back to the studio again.
Yeah.
I think it's trying to be a bit too clever. And I think the thing that bugs me is the first song, which is Fort Knox, which I just can't listen to. Because it's an example where...
Listen to it now.
Yeah, I think it's an example where this could have been brilliant. I love an intro track, don't I?
Yeah.
I love an intro track.
You know me. I love intro tracks.
This just irritates me because it starts and it's really cool and you think, yeah. But there's sounds that start like that ticking, sort of ringing sound, and then by the end of it, it's still there.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a headache, because for me, it should be going, if it's a bit more clever, for me, it would be, oh, right, this sound comes in, it's not introduced, it's gone out. So for me, I think it's a very good concept, but it just it fell off what it could have done.
It didn't completely come off.
It didn't quite come off. And I'm all for someone having a go. And by the way, I know it didn't count as the actual album, but Dead in the Water is one of my favourite ever Noel Gallagher songs. But it wasn't on the album.
It's ridiculut. It's just chucked on the end. It's hidden away.
Because as he said, he just needed a bonus one.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the best Noel Gallagher songs ever.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm not saying any of these bad albums really, but it just fell off what
I mean, he had to try and do something different.
Yeah, and I don't blame him at all for it. 6th, we've gone for another BDI one.
He's back on the gear.
He's back on the gear. Different gear, still speeding. See what you did there. I think I prefer this album a bit more than you. I think there were some good songs. The first one's quite explosive, but it was just kind of... It was...
I think I do slightly remember this.
There's some good moments. I think my favourite one's the first one and then the last one. Because there's some good moments on it, but again, I just like the second album. There's good band, but it's didn't quite have that extra level.
Yeah.
You could say though it's still on par with the last few Oasis albums.
You just know what you're gonna get. Don't you? There's no surprises in it. It's just is what it is.
And his voices are decent, but when I say last few Oasis albums, I don't mean Dig Out Your Soul, because that was a really good album.
Yeah.
But the ones before that, we'll rank that in another video. But no. But I think for me, the highlight of this album is, and if you watch Liam Gallagher As It Was film. It's on Netflix now. If you haven't, really recommend it. This is the best song on the album. By far my favourite BDI song. And it kind of starts here. Basically it's a scene where they talk about his like breakdown from like life because his personal life got of him and then he'd gone out.
Yeah.
With Bonehead and his brother, and it's just quite a nice, hopeful song. And I heard this bit in the film, and I thought it was brilliant. So there are good moments in this album, but I feel like the 3 albums we've done so far, there's a gap.
There's a couple of standout songs.
Yeah.
Each,
there's like
if you're lucky.
Right ones, yeah. Which it's all right. Yeah, it's a Gallagher brother. It will sell pretty well. The second will sell very well, but
it's like you can guess what's coming. It's a
Yeah.
lot of it's all the same stuff. If you chucked a few of them
yeah.
on one of the later Oasis albums, you
Yeah.
wouldn't notice, would you?
No, you wouldn't. It's a good point. No, you wouldn't.
It's just more of what you expect.
Yeah. So there wasn't really that new thing. Now going into the top 5, I feel like there's a difference because you could really put any of these 5 albums in this.
It's personal preference.
Yes, and we've gone between us. So now the 5th one, which is a bit harsh to say this is the 5th best album that it released, because there is one of my favourite ever Gallagher Brothers songs in it. But we've gone for Why Me, Why Not. Again, really strong album.
Yeah.
What Once is probably my favourite Gallagher song. It's such a good song. My most played song on Spotify. Was it last year or year before, I think. But the reason we haven't put it right at the top, just looking at the songs again, they're solid.
Yeah.
But it just got a bit too samey to the first album for me.
It's too long for not doing something different.
Yes, I agree.
There's not enough changes in it to justify its length.
Yeah, to have 14 songs and then they're not bad songs. There's not a bad song on any of these next albums, but
it's a trap that loads of people fall into.
Yeah.
Bring out like deluxe editions and
and then you end
14, 15, 16 songs.
Yeah,
but it's just more of the same. Just cut it off.
Just cut it off and have it. It's just like 10 or 11 really.
And just chuck it out singles if you really want to release it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. But this is a great album, but not quite as good as the other 4 we're going to put in front of it.
I don't think so.
In 4th place of the Gallagher Brothers albums, we've gone for this. We had a slight disagreement. I would put this maybe 2nd or 3rd. I think it's a brilliant album. You think it's a good album?
I think it's good. I think there's some things that don't do enough for me. Come On You Know, it's the title of the album. It's the lead single. It needs to do more. It's not big enough.
No, it's like the Noel Gallagher thing, isn't it? Where it's been quite...
That should be massive. For what it is, for who he is. It's Come On You Know.
Yeah.
That should be like an absolute anthem.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm a big thing of track listing. And I like the fact they started with more power actually. It's nice. And I love that song.
Fabber.
But yeah, even though he does say that word weirdly. But I just find the track listing a bit weird. Like this still should be starting it all near the top. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, and then the end of the album.
Yeah.
I prefer it to the first half.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm Free is just absolutely brilliant. And
I'm Free's brilliant.
Better Days is decent.
Children.
Yeah,
Even the last 2 songs.
Yeah.
Joker and Wave.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that this is brilliant. I used to listen to Sticky Fingers. The best
He knows.
band ever. Well, not quite, but one of my favourite. But yeah, I think it's really good. I like the fact he's done something different, like Noel's third album. And I prefer it to Noel's third album.
Well, Noel went really different.
And this
This
is
is different, but
he's talking about doing like a more punky 4th album if he ever does another one.
yeah.
For me, he's just done Neverwhere. What do you do from that, apart from Oasis reading?
Yeah. But that probably won't happen.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
No, it won't happen.
I don't know. I think for me this would be better if it just needs jumbling around a bit better.
Yeah, just jumping around a bit more. A couple of songs to finish it better. But it's brilliant. Though.
There's a couple of tracks I want more out of.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of my favourite albums this year. Not much competition these days, to be fair.
Bloody these days.
Bloody music.
It's all bloody Dua Lipa.
And many people don't do albums these days. So it's all singles and EPs. But, so, going to the top 3. This is 11 years old, this album now. Mental, really, isn't it?
What's it, yeah? 2011.
But Noel Gallagher's first solo album. At the time, I'm sounding Gallagher Brothers, at the time I was a slightly bit, not underwhelmed, but it was kind of new. Because it was just Noel, I think, for the first time. And you think, there's no like rocky ones on it as such. But then afterwards, you go back to it and you're like, oh, these songs are absolutely quality.
We sat down with him, age 12, and had a word.
Yeah.
No, I think you've messed up here.
But he hasn't gone in the trap. He's put 10 songs in this album. I know it's a different time when deluxe albums are more allowed to Spotify anyway.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be the longest. I think it's perfect length.
Yeah.
There's nothing on here that doesn't need to be on it.
No, there's nothing on here that isn't not as
Everything's on here for a reason.
Yeah.
There's not any like wasted tracks.
Yeah, I mean,
Because there's the amount of people that put in a track that is
to
just for the sake of it, just to extend the length of it.
I mean, this.
All of this is worth having on.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's really good. Really good. I mean, if I had a gun, I mean, the first 3 songs are phenomenal.
I couldn't pick out a bad song from
I
this.
can't pick out a bad song. And it's still got the balance of an album as well. Like some songs that brings it down a bit. So, yeah, great album.
It works perfectly as its own thing.
Second, right, remember when this came out?
I
And
do.
It's just like Liam Gallagher's back.
Yeah, it's massive.
And for us, they might what we got into Oasis, been like 9 or something, so that would have been just around the time they're splitting up, really. This is the first time we've experienced like an Oasis kind of phenomenon.
Yeah.
Because it basically was Oasis when it's Liam Gallagher's thing. Noel's Noel and then Liam's basically for the Oasis ones.
Yeah.
That's why I see it.
Well, this was.
Yeah, and I think this, especially this album, I feel like this, you won't see a better comeback from a musician really in a long time. I know Kasabian's is trying to do it right now. Probably.
Yeah.
But just to go from the celebrity disgrace basically to where he was at the end of BDI,
Yeah.
just to a reformed kind of image, brilliant people around him, his music's brilliant, to play Nebworth.
But he was done. He was finished.
He was done, he could have just wandered away from, and everyone gone, oh yeah, Wasted, remember Liam, yeah, it's alright. Done his bit, and then he's come back, and he hasn't just had a solo career, he's had an amazing one.
Yeah.
And for Oasis fans, like which we haven't had, I think 2 brilliant solo careers they've both had.
Yeah.
And I think, Noel's is brilliant, and then gone a bit like that. Liam's is just going like that. And I'm like, let's post Oasis Gallagher Brother
even though we
album
put
we've
it-
gone for Chasing yesterday. And I think it's a masterclass. Like, there's some strong albums that we've done, but for me, this is the best thing Noel Gallagher's wrote since like the prime of Oasis. Easily.
Absolute Noel Gallagher masterclass. He's ratioed Liam though.
But I think just, again, it's just 10 songs on the album.
Yeah.
And this for me is the ultimate album, the way how it goes. This is sort of peaks and it stops, and then that last song, the Ballad of the Mighty Eye.
Yeah.
Because like, when he did it in the Heat of the Moment single, I was like, unsure is this gonna be that one. When I heard, I think that was the second or third single, Ballad of the Mighty Eye, and it was just like, wow, okay, he's this is gonna be special.
It's on.
Had Johnny Marr on guitar, had that video, Chris Martin did 10 takes.
Yeah.
I remember we were still in school. Were we still in school?
Yeah, what was this, 2015?
Yeah, I remember coming. Yeah, all I remember was just I was quoting Chris Martin did 10 takes in the video. 2015, so yeah, we were just finishing GCSEs.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing album. And so I saw him on this tour as well.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely bloody great.
What to say about it, really?
It's very good.
Whenever we do these sort of things, we've done a top 100 Thief songs, and you get to number 1, you're like, what do you say? This is really good.
Just good, just listen to it basically.
Just listen to it. It's really good. Even if you're like not really a Gallagher Brother fan, you would really appreciate this because musically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there we have it.
I don't know, apart from his first album, it's like the most complete.
Yeah, and they did. I think it's the strongest album that Noel Gallagher's done in this century.
This century? Wow.
Which, to be fair, if you think about that, because obviously one was Be Here Now, that was 97, and then it was just like new Oasis when Bonehead left. So none of that last Oasis, like.
I didn't like a lot of their 19th century stuff. Didn't like a lot of their sea shanties.